Okay, so I'm taking this scenario of Naveen doing a bank transaction here, and when he is transferring the amount to his dad, and it got hold, okay, it got stuck, and when he contacts the ICICI backend team, they say that it will take 2 to 3 months to update the website. Until that time, neither he can do the transaction nor his money will be released. This is something which is not at all acceptable by any of the client or any of the customers. What is acceptable is 2 to 3 hours of downtime during weekend, that too in the midnight when there is no business happening, and that too with a pre-intimation. Okay, with an intimation at least before a day or two, or at least even more better, 1 week before 1 week. If we intimate them that on this particular day at this particular time the system will not work for these many hours, so that we have a maintenance. Now, is this acceptable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Now, what ICSA has to make sure that whoever is the development team who are working on it, maybe Infosys is working on it. So the people who are working in Infosys team on the website has to make sure everything is perfectly working fine on some other server. That server is called development server, where they design everything and test it. Now, once it's done properly, they need to move it to the quality. They need to move it into the quality and
Production.
then production. Yes, that's right. Now, quality server is also called as testing server. Now, what will happen? Whatever you do the developments will be moved to the quality, and there is a quality team or the testing team who actually do the testing, quality testing team. And once it's been tested and everything is working fine, then it can be moved to the production. Okay, so for this, now we might work on a particular object for 2 months or 3 months or whatever time. We just now, once it's been done, we send it to the testing team, and the testing team makes sure that the whatever object that we have developed is working according to the requirement of the client. They test it, and then everything is working fine. Then one fine day, one fine time, just like for a small period of time downtime, they will all move that developments to the production server. This is how it happens. So even if the business is happening in the production server, it is unaffected by all the things that we are doing in the backend. Okay, so this is how the mechanism would be. This is called the system landscape. Now, the system landscape is common for most of the software projects. So if you normally type the system landscape for other softwares also, other than SAP also, you'll get that. Now, having said that, I'll just want to show you a quick diagram. I can draw it, but I just want to create. Okay, I'll just draw one. Here, this is production server. Here, this is the quality server. This is the development server. So we will be doing all our developments in the development server in the real time. Now, once we have done it, and in this, the partitions within the development is called client. So now you're logging into 800 client or 810 client, something like that. But in the real time, you're going to have 100, 125, something like that. This client number into which you're logging in can be seen on the logon screen of your system. So when you're giving your username and password to log in into the SAP system, on the top you can see the client into which you are logging in. In quality also will have the partitions. It need not be the same numbers. It can be something like 500 and 510. Now in the production we have something like, we have say 100. Now mostly in production we will have only single client. We will not have multiple clients, because to avoid the confusion between the data and all. So this is the development server. This is the system landscape. Now in this, if you have to move everything from anything from development to quality, quality to production, there is a mechanism called system landscape. Okay, and let me tell you that the complete control over the development and quality server will always be from the implementation company, that is Capgemini. And production company will always be, most of the times will be having the rights, the entire rights of production server will be with the client. If the client is something like, for us the Nestle, so Nestle will have the access to the production server. Okay, so this is what we have. So production server, in the production server we'll have this clients. Now when we do the development and complete it and make sure that everything is working fine in the development server, if we have to move it to quality server, then the question is, how do we move it? So to move our objects from development to quality and to production, we as the developer or a functional consultant, it might be a functional consultant or it might be a developer, the technical consultant as well, will do some activities. There is a role for developers and there is a role for admin. For admin there is a role. Okay, so these two things have to be done. So certain things have to be done by you, certain things have to be done by the admin. Now what are the things that we have to do? First and foremost thing, if you want to move anything from development to quality to production, is the first and foremost thing that you have to do is you have to save those objects which you want to move from development to quality production in a package. This is a rule number one. If you don't save them in the package, and if you save them in local object has a default package called $tmp. Okay, so save those objects in the package in the local object in $tmp. Then this is the first step that you have to do. Only then you will be able to move from development to quality to production. Local object, if you are clicking on local object, it is like a person without a passport. So can any person without a passport can travel to foreign countries? Simply no. This is the first requisite for a person to move from one country to another country is you need to have a passport. Without that you cannot move. Now that's a prerequisite. Next thing that you have to do is you have to complete the object, and it should be in active mode. Okay, it should be active, it should be complete, and it should be active. Only then we can move it. Then we need to release the task, and after releasing task we need to release the request. So we need to release the task and then we need to release the request. This is what we need to do. Save those objects in the package, then complete the object name, activate, then release the task. Okay, release the request. Once you do all this stuff, then you need to intimate the admin team that you have done it. Then uh, your manager has to approve, or your team lead has to approve, someone from your team has to approve, so that the administration department can go ahead and release it. So it's like visa stamping, just like a visa stamping. Okay, without visa stamping, you cannot go to land in another country, right? So now you have released it. You have released it from your end. Okay, you're done from your end, but that approval that yes, this is required, really required in quality and production has to be validated by some other person, not by the person who released it. Then it will be validated, and if they have the credentials to do that, then admin department will actually release it to the quality system. Then it will move to the quality. Okay, to go ahead with the quality, but to make sure it appears in the quality, they have different concepts that the administration department will do. Okay, we are not discussing about that administration role right now, but this is what is your job role, to release it. Okay, and everything that you develop for being used by the client needs to be saved in a package. If you are practicing something just for whether checking out whether it is working or not, then you have to save it under a, you can save it in the local office, doesn't matter. But if you are saving it in a package, only then you can move it from development to quality production, otherwise no. Okay, so now once the approval is done and the administration department will release it, then you can go ahead and see that program or development or object in the quality. Now the quality team will do the quality checks, and then they move to the production if everything goes well. Otherwise, again you have to rework and then move it. Now let's say we have version 1. First time you have done something and moved to the quality. Version 1 is moved to the quality, and version 1 is moved to production. The version 1 is there, then you have done version 2, then version 2 you have moved, version 2 will be there, version 2 will be there here. Now again you have moved v1, then you have changed again, then again you have changed it v2, v3 will be moved here, v3. So this is what we have. Now here these are the steps that we have: v1, v2, v3. Now v1, first time we have moved v1 version 1, then version 2, then version 3. Now if you observe here, in the in the development system, all the versions exist, all the versions exist in the development server. But what if, what happens with the uh, quality and quality and production? For quality and production, only the latest version will be moved, the old versions will not be there. Clear? Okay, is it clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, could you repeat this one again, sir?
Can anyone else explain this, who understood this? Now, first of all, let me tell you what is version. See, if you have done 10 lines of code, okay, and you have activated, it's a version. Now you added few more lines, 5 lines you have added, then it will become version 2, or you have deleted something, modified something, whatever you have done, and you have 15 lines of code in the version 2. Then you have again added 5 more lines, and then it becomes version 3. So every time you change, it will become a different version, but it will be considered as a different version only after release. Okay, after release only we can, after release only we can do it, after release only we can do it. Okay, so now did any one of you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you just repeat for everyone so that, So here, every time you change the object, in our example program, a program can be object, a database table can be object. So these objects, any object that you have changed and released it, then every release becomes a version. Every release becomes what? Version. So what do we mean by v1?
Version 1.
Brilliant. What do we mean by v2?
Second version. It's the update.
Obviously, excellent. Now, what are we trying to understand is only the latest version will be, whatever we have moved to the quality and production. Only the latest version will be available in the quality and production system, but in the development server, all the versions will be available. That's the only point that I'm trying to explain here. That's it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now here we have, yes. So what we'll do is we will first create a package. I'm going to create from the scratch a package, and every time I create a package, a request number generates. Obviously, why this request number generates is what we need to understand. A request number is auto generated. Means if I have something like ECCK 92304, something randomly it gets created. But if I want a fancy number here, I want ECCK all nines, I can't get it because this is not decided by me or you. It is auto generated by the system. What we can do is we can just give a description to it. We can just add a description to it. We can just add a description to the request number. Fine. So now under every request number, again a task number will be created. Okay, so let's say this is a request number ECCK 92304. Under this, a task number will be created. This is a request number. Under this request number, a task number will be created. Now this task number will not be the same number, at least one additional number. So it might be 92305. So we have 92304 and then we have 92305. Right? So this happens to be the request number. This happens to be the task number. The task number is something is auto generated. Now let's say this request number was created by me, and I myself have saved certain objects in this. Then this also will be all the programs and everything that I do it from my end will be stored in this under this request number. But each one of you is also saving your developments in my request number only. Means, for example, now doing the Teja is saving it his developments in my request number. It can be possible. Now it will be something like it can take the random number whichever is available at that particular time. It will take randomly and that will be created as a task. So you have this task and you have this task. Okay, so these are the two different tasks that we have. Now, every time a new user creates saves something under the same request number, a new task will be created. So this task will be for one user ID and this task will be for another user. This is what we need to understand. Fine. So now let us go ahead and see this. Let us go ahead and create a package, and then we create a program, and then we will also see how it is being reflected. Now to check out all the request numbers and all, you have to go to SE09 transaction. This is the transaction code name, SE09. Now let us go ahead and before getting into the transaction code, let us go ahead and create a package first. SE80, you create a package, and then I'll go and create a program from the SE80 only, and a program from SC38. Okay, and everything I'll map under the same package. Okay, when you are creating a package, you always have to remember that you should start with Z followed by your employee code and then underscore whatever. It might be a first program, FP1, first program one. Okay. Um, PROG1. Okay, now with this package name you can sort your employee code. We can find out even if you have missed what you have done, you don't remember what you have done. With this one package name you can get the list of all the things that you have done in the server, entire server, anytime. You don't have to remember each and everything. You just have to remember the pack. You just have to remember the employee code. That's it. Then everything can be accessed. So let me show you that. I'll go for SE80 first. And in the SE80 I'll go for the package. So I'll be creating a package. So whenever we create a package, obviously it will ask me for the request number. So here this 123456 represents your employee code underscore P1. P1 stands for package. So I'm just giving it randomly. You can give any naming convention. And in the project, when you are working on the project, the client and the manager or the team lead will tell you what should be the naming convention. You have to follow that. Now this is a request number which was last used by someone. You can save it under the same request number if you want, but again you cannot release it if you save it under someone else request number. So what you have to do is you have to click on create request, new request for Vikramaditya. Now here new request, or say first request for Vikramaditya. Save it, say okay. Now you have this. Right click on this and create program. Okay, so you can create a program from here also. You don't have to always go to SC38 and do it. So create a program. So here I'll give the program name as ZVA underscore PROG1. But again here in your case you always start it with your employee code, set employee code. So I'll simply go for a write statement. Save it, activate. Now when we activate it, it will automatically take it into the same request number. So it was saved under the same request number. The program also was saved under the same request number. Now we will explore that request concept again. But before that, let us go ahead into SC38 and create a program from there. I'll give it as ZVA underscore PROG2 create. Now you should never click on local object. You have to click on the package only. Say okay. Here, okay. Welcome to Genius Batch. Say syntax check, activate, execute. This has also been done. Now what we'll do is, like, if you go back, this is a program which we have done it individually from the SC38. But what we have done is we have saved it under the same package. So if you have saved in the same package, you just refresh this package and that program also will appear here. And this program you can also open it from SC80 as well. Since if it is already in the edit mode here, it can be only open in the display mode. But now that we have come out of it, you can just click on this display change and you can get it. That's it. This is what we have. Now when we create a program, we have a choice of saving in the same request or any other request. So if I go for another program, 3. Now here this is the first request. I'll go for second request. Second request for Vikramaditya. Just say save. Say okay. Now this is done and we'll go for right. Okay, so this is another program that we are writing, third program, and the third program exists in another request number. Okay, now this is what we have done. Let us now explore the request, how the request transport requests are aligned. Let us understand the request concept here. So here, if you see the display here, you can see that there are a lot of request numbers which are actually saved here, which are not, uh, you know, not been released. So this is workbench request, local change request. Okay, then we have this modifiable. So we have local change requests and modifiable. Normally in the real time you will see only the modifiable requests. In general you will not be able to see these two things. We'll be able to see only one here. Okay, so if you open this up, you can see the program, and as I told you, a request task number will be generated just below this. Okay, so you can see that there is a task number which is exactly one number above this, and there can be multiple tasks under one request. There can be multiple tasks under one request. Fine. Okay, so now if at all, if you have to move it from development to quality to production, the first and foremost prerequisite is that you have to release it. Without releasing it, uh, you cannot move it to the, if you have to move it from development to quality to production, will have a, okay, let's see, let's say this is a, this is one. Okay, can anyone of you quickly give your name? Surya. Okay, Surya would like to move from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Means not him actually, his he wants to move his house from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Okay, he wants to move it from Bangalore to Hyderabad, entire house. Okay, he has a lot of items. Okay, so now all these items have to be shifted from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Now how does he do that? Will he carry it in his hand and keep it in his pocket and catch a flight? Hello.
No.
So how is he going to move it from Bangalore to Hyderabad? Hello, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Through some transportation.
Transport. So you mean to say truck? He needs a truck, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now from Bangalore to Hyderabad, he needs a truck, and if he again wants to move from Hyderabad to some Vijayawada, again he needs a truck. Okay, so maybe the same truck or there will be different trucks. Okay, maybe the same truck. Okay, so now this is what we have. So just like Surya needs a truck to move all his house, shift his house from Bangalore to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Vijayawada. Here also we also have a truck here. So development to quality, quality to production. A truck will be there. You have to keep everything in the truck, release it automatically. Then the quality team has to take it from the admin department. The admin department will take it from the quality, and then we'll be able to see it. Now let's see where is the truck. So first and foremost is each task can be considered as a one object in your household. Okay, so there can be multiple tasks. So first thing is we need to pack all the items, right? So if you want to move fridge, AC, cooler, washing machine, and all these things, everything has to be packed individually and released it down to the truck. So now first and foremost is we'll select each one of them and click on the truck button. Can everyone see the truck here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You know why this truck color is red color? This is released. Okay, this is released and we have tick mark. Can you guess why this color is red color? Truck. Guys, is my voice audible?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yeah, so my question was why this truck is in red color?
No idea, sir.
Because I like red truck. That's the reason SAP built it like that. Okay, so now this is released. Okay, the task is released. Now you select the request number and release it, it will release. But in this condition, below this, whatever we have, the first request, I have not released the task, but I'm trying to release the request. Select it and keep it like this. It says referencing task is not yet released. So what the system is expecting? The system is saying first of all you release the tasks under the request number, then you can release the request. So I'm not able to do it, but here in this case I will be able to do it because this is already released. So you can select that and click on this. Now there are some successfully completed or not. So now this is done. Now in the so this customizing are for the functional guys. Okay, now you can see only the released one. I mean like the I mean like modifiable you are able to see, but released also we want to see. Check this released one and click on display. You can see below that there will be other option which will come here, wherein we can see the released ones as well. Yeah, here you can see released ones in this, no, this one. In this you can see the released ones here. These are the modifiable objects. These are the released ones. So in the release we have VASK 901411. This is what we have.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
So could you please say like what actually happens when we try to release, like where it is, from where it is going?
it will not go anywhere. It will not go anywhere. You just packed it up. That's it. Ready to move. But who has to move it from development to quality? The administration department has to move it. Now what you are doing is you are just packing it up and saying that this is ready. If you are saying released, it means that you have kept the item outside your home. Means you can put it in the truck and you can take it away. That's what you are telling to them. So now when you just release it, nothing happens. Only when they take it forward into the quality, when the admin team take it forward into the quality, only then it will be moved. Until then it will not be moved. Nothing will happen here.
So one by one only we can release, sir, or massively we can do.
Mass also we can do. We can do the mass also. So once we come back from the break, we'll discuss about the mass request release also. You don't have to do it individually. Okay, so now what I was telling about is the version management, right? So in version management what we can do is, okay, so I have added one more line. Maybe I'll add a slash here. I'll save it. The moment I save it, it asks for a request number. Why is it asking another request number? Is because we have released the first request number. Once you have released, it's kind of a freezed, so you cannot use that request number again, because once you have freezed, only then the admin team will take it forward from development to quality. So if at all, if you do any changes to the program, you have to save it under a new request number.
So only release the program, it will ask for a new request number. So
Exactly, that's right. Now I've done it. I've done the changes. So now if I save and activate it, and now again I go for another statement, right? Now if I go and write another one and save and activate, so activate, this is activated. It will not ask, for the third line it didn't ask the request number, because we already have that request number modifiable. Once you release it, it will become released. So let us go ahead and release that one. Select the task, click on the truck button, select task, request number. So again it is also released, successfully completed. After releasing, only you have to copy the released request number and then give it to the quality team, and then the admin team, and then they'll move it to the quality. Now that we have released it, if you save it, again it will ask for a request number, because the old request number has been freezed. So I'm going for fourth request number. Now that we have done so many changes to this program, all this in all these changes that we have done, which one is moved finally to the quality and production only, that one version only will be there. Okay, let's say this is the last version. So only this version, if we have moved to them, only the latest version will be there. All the old versions will perish from the quality and production now. But here you can have everything here. Here we'll have utilities, versions, version management. If you go to the version management, here you can see that there is version 1, version 2 and active version. Okay, now if I select the version 1 and version 2 and see the differences, we can see the differences here. We can see on the left side we have the version 2 and this is the version 1. So we can see the difference between version 1 and version 2. And we can also see that description of that request number: third request for Vikramaditya, second request for Vikramaditya. Now here we'll have all these things. This is what we have. Clear? So whenever you are creating a request number, just need to make sure that in some in some projects you will not be allowed to create a request number basically. So whenever you are trying to create a request, to create a program and a request number, new request number, let's say I have this file, create, I save it. Now here, this option, either you can save it in the same request or you can go for own request and search for your request. If you have any other request, you can search for it and save it. But this create button will be disabled for you. So you will not be able to create any new request. Then if someone has to create a request, then who has to do it? The manager or the team lead will have an option to do that in the SE09. So here we'll have a create request. So they create a request, create a customizing or workbench request, select workbench and select it. And once you create it, you will be able to go ahead and do it. This is what we have. Clear? So in certain projects, it will be like that.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if once the request is released to the admin team, then we can again modify it.
No, we can't do it. That's what I'm telling. Once you have
Okay, sir.
released the request number, that's gone. You can definitely change the program name. You can modify the program, but if you are modifying the program, you have to do it in a different request number. The same request number does not work.
Okay, sir.
So you should always be very careful when you are creating the request number, because unnecessary request numbers are not required or not needed. Okay, fine. This is about the transport request concept.